Welcome to MMA Fancast. My name's Luke Payson, and every time I have this guest on the show, I'm always excited. He's a legend from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a friend of mine, a friend of the show, and bringing on two dogs, the General, Justin Patton, with his dog friends, Buddy, and the new addition, Nova. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Always an honor to have you on the show. You are the co-main event fight for Brawl Burgh 18 for 247 Fighting Championships, which is coming up now pretty soon at the Meadows, Hollywood Casino at the Meadows in Canonsburg, October 21st. And in honor of your co-main event, I'm wearing the 247 shirt.
Oh, nice.
Sincerely see it because of how it is set up. So there we go. So very exciting. What are you thinking about? How's life been going headed in to this big co-main event for Brawl Burgh 18 after you were the main event in the last time out, Brawl Burgh 17?
It's been good. Really just working like always, just training hard, making sure my conditioning is good. A lot of wrestling, a lot of striking, just training, same old, same old. Nothing really new to the program. I don't think my last fight I made any serious mistakes besides when I wrestled up, my head was in a bad position. I didn't change my head position. He caught it, you know what I mean? The series that happened before that, everything else was fine, I feel like a little less scrambles, I think, actually in my last fight, more like getting to my positions and keeping them, and then don't get in that scramble and then give him a chance to out scramble me, you know what I mean? But other than that, same old stuff, training hard.
Yeah, you're very well known for training hard. The Mad Factory, pretty much everybody there under the legend Isaac really are known for hard trainers. You're obviously conditioned very hard, plus you cross train around. And I think in your last fight, being cage side, having the honor to call it, you are such a well-rounded fighter. You were fighting sort of long and tall for, I think, the first time that I've seen it. You're so well-rounded. Sometimes you out wrestle, but against Kyle Ziminik up till the end, you were really snapping everything long range. You looked really good. I know you had said all your weapons felt really great that day. You were winning on the scorecard up until the finish, which is why, of course, MMA is so exciting.
I know, dude.
Yeah. So that's sometimes it goes for you with an exciting come from behind win. And sometimes it goes against you, but still always very exciting. I had Ethan, the Wolverine Goss, on last night, the champ, the reigning, defending for the third time. Let's talk a little bit about that because he had a lot of terrible things to say about you. Of course, I'm kidding. All good stuff. But what's it like? You guys have this incredible record for 247 that when you're sharing a card, co-main event, main event status, you guys always win. You're kind of the dynamic duo, even though you train at different gyms. He does cross train with you guys, I think, once a week. What's it like being on the card again with the champ? And obviously, kind of what are your thoughts coming into this fight?
It's good training, like fighting on the same card as him, just because we honestly, like, we sit in the back, we BS until it's time for us to warm up and go, and then we go do our thing, And I'm normally like in the back, like people, you can ask people about it. I normally lay down and sleep. But like with him, it's cool because we'll just like casually talk and chit chat a little bit and talk about fighting and stuff like that. And he's been in it a little bit longer than I have, so he's a little bit wiser. Like this Sunday, I was having trouble with a Darce, and he gave me like just defensive pointer tips to help me with that because I got long arms, I get stretched out sometimes, and he was helping me with that. So just little stuff like that adds to my game, you know what I mean? So, and we both give each other really good work. Like I'm always trying to get him, he's trying to get me, and it's not like it's a respect thing, you know what I mean? Like we respect each other. If I get you, I got you, but I'm not gonna like, yo, I got him, I'm up next for the belt. No, it's like, it's all respect. So it's good. But as far as this fight coming up, from what my coaches say, this dude likes to throw heavy kicks. We're looking to defend his kicks, come in and do what I do, make the fight fun.
Yeah, it's a great matchup. Jim Moody, the head matchmaker for 247, Hunter and everybody else, they do a great job. Both cards, we didn't even get to say, you're the co-main event. I was telling the Wolverine last night that these back-to-back events, which of course you headlined last time out in July, I think it becomes like a fight weekend. You got Sprawl in the Burgh making its return, and that just gets people even more excited. And you're the co-main event on maybe 35 matches by the time you add up the night before and the fight card. You're the co-main event on this long buildup. But I think it makes you and Ethan Wolverine, that title fight, just even that much more special because of the big buildup to it. You're going up against Andrew Studevant, if we're saying his last name right. It's always exciting to see you take on challenges. You've been on the show a ton to talk about the fact that you always want opponents to be a good win, to challenge you. Obviously, your game continues. I think you were on a 4-fight win streak before that caught you. 3-fight win streak on your way to 4 because you were up on the scorecards prior to getting caught. So just even with that disappointment last time out, in the last year or so, year and a half, you really look to me like you're hitting your stride, developing the way Coach Isaac Reilly and everybody at the Mat Factory wants. What does that feel like for you as far as putting the skills together and
It feels
continuing
good.
to increase?
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I feel it. It feels good, honestly. Like my last fight, I felt like everything was clicking. You know what I mean? Like I was seeing all his strikes coming. He didn't really hit me clean too much. I think he hit me with like one double overhand from the left side, yeah. He like threw a overhand and that one hit me, but it didn't even like hit me clean. You know what I mean? I'm seeing everything coming. I'm seeing my shots in there. Um, it just feels good. Like everything's clicking. You know what I mean? Honestly, sometimes like I surprise myself when I go in there and I perform, and it just works. Like it's like this works better than I thought it would. You know what I mean? Like so it's good and it's crazy. Like I was talking to all my coaches about it, and I leveled up my last fight a lot, but that level up would taste so much better
Yeah,
with a win. You know, like you
sure.
level up every time you get in there, but with a loss, it just doesn't taste as good. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, that was one of those things. I mean, hats off to your opponent. He caught you, like you said, in a scramble. He was kind of known for his scrambles coming out of amateur and in his pro career up to that date. So that's a big part of his game. You were definitely getting the better of him that night up until he caught you. But I think that's what's always exciting about fights is you really were leveling up, really showing. I remember on the commentary prior to the way it ended, saying like, this is development. You always knew you could be a dominant fighter at the pro level, and it's been really an honor for me, and I'm sure 247. You and Ethan. I think Ethan's the senior as far as number of fights for 247. He's the record holder for number of fights and number of main events. But you're right behind him as far as really being dedicated, at least right now, the 247. So talk a little bit about that. Obviously, I'm repping their shirt. I love working for them and doing the commentary. And last time out, we had Gray Maynard competing against your coach. I mean, just the level of 247. So what's it been like? You competed once for 247 as an amateur and then jumped into the pro ranks. So give me a little fighter's perspective on what the ride. I think you're up to about 4 or 5 fights, maybe more with 247. What's that ride been like?
I think it's like 8 or 9. This is gonna be my ninth, I think. But
My math skills
it's
aren't
been a
that
lot.
good. Sorry, Ryan Middleton.
You're
My
good.
math
You're good.
skills aren't that
It's
good.
they're good people. Like they always treat me well, and they give you like I fought for other promotions, and it feels like other promotions are cheap cheap and like the off brand. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like you're in some backwoods town fighting in a bingo hall. You know what I mean? And 247 really gives you that feel that it's the next level. You know what I mean? Like give 247 a year or two, and they're gonna be UFC feeders. Like they're gonna be
Mhm.
on UFC Fight Pass, or they're gonna be on some. I'm telling you, like they're doing the right thing and they're making the right moves, and And I can't believe like they're bringing in Nicky Rod.
Mhm.
Like that's insane to me. Like he's one of, you know, if not the second best on the world next to Gordon Ryan or close to, you know what I mean? Top 15 in the world at least. Like that's insane. Like so just like they're to bring good people in
Yeah.
and to do a good show, a quality show. It's and they're all good people like Ryan and Hunter. I give Ryan shit all the time, but he's a good dude. You know what I mean? I just like to like get under, you know, just poke the bear a little bit. It's a
They
good
are
time.
great people. It's such an honor. You mentioned Nicky Rod. Obviously, that's a huge signing, such a big deal for Sprawl in the Burgh too. Talk specifically. It's a very unique setup. I
It's
was just
yeah.
texting the guys before we jumped on saying what a creative genius that was. But you train and know two of the three guys Nicky Rod's going to be going up against in sort of a tag team affair. Obviously, the incredible Cody Gamble and Jake Lowry. What are your thoughts about how they'll do? And obviously, what's really cool for people that don't know is the Nicky Rod match is based on time, and it doesn't matter how many submissions there are; it'll keep going. Which, frankly, I think in a submission grappling showcase that makes sense, right? Because it's exciting to see the setups for submissions. I think sometimes it can almost be disappointing when a submission happens maybe too quick and then it's over. So I love the fact that Nicky Rod will be going three opponents in a row, two from the Mat Factory, and then no matter how many submissions, it'll keep going for 8 3-minute rounds for him and an 8-minute go for Jake and Cody. So talk about them and what are your thoughts and predictions for them? They're hopefully going to be on the show at some point to give their thoughts, but you brought it up, so I figured you're an inside scooper there for the Mat Factory.
I think it's gonna be good and fun to watch. Like I'm definitely gonna watch it. I think I think the first like Cody Gamble's gonna have it the hardest, I believe. I think he's gonna try to wear him down and they're gonna catch him in the end. Jake Lowry can catch him. Like I honestly believe that Jake believes it too. Like that's what you need. And he's gonna like he's gonna get him 1-1, you know what I mean? And as far as like the submission getting quick and the match being over, on the same thing but the opposite, sometimes your opponent's so worried about getting subbed out that nothing really happens in the match.
Oh,
You know what I mean? And it's like kind of a boring match because no one wants to go for it because they know if they go for it, they might lose the position and lose the match. So it's going to be exciting either way because they're not worried about getting subbed out and losing.
right.
It'll keep going on. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, you actually bring up a good point because having called, which was such an incredible night, having called Sprawl in the Burgh one, that was a submission only unless time ran out. I think there were some matches, understandably. I mean, the mental game and a submission only match, I think there were some matches that because it was a one sub submission only situation, that, maybe people slow it down and limit what they're doing because of, your offense. And this is what jujitsu does. Everybody's offense opens up somebody else's offense. So
mm-hmm.
how that is, the Mad Factory is a wrestling and jiu-jitsu and all around well-rounded. But that's the thing with jiu-jitsu. Everything they're trying to do gives you something. Everything you're trying to do gives them something. So makes sense. That's very wise for you to say. And I think also given Nicky Rod's level, it certainly makes it levels the the game, the level of play a little bit in the sense that they can all go in there, like you said, showcasing their best. If they get caught, it keeps rolling. And, so what if they get caught a few times in 8 minutes? You rolling, how many times do you get caught every practice when you're rolling with anybody? I mean, that's what I think people don't always see on the performance side. Of course, perfection is needed, but in the training side of things, in the getting good reps, you mentioned with Ethan the Wolverine Goss and many other people. I know Edwin Vera still shows up at your gym. You guys still,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we now have Ethan Kenny. He's fighting on that card too, and let me tell you, this kid, it's what his third amateur fight, and he's gonna be a stud. Like I can tell you right now, like you can see like when someone has it, and this kid, I'm telling you, like mark my words, I'm telling you, he gives me some of my best work, and he's a 45er, and he's strong. I remember. All right, so I'm gonna tell you a story I tell everyone. First time I went with this kid, right? We're at All American and Nick Brown's,
Nick Brown.
and I don't know this kid from anyone else, right? And I'm striking with him. And I'm like, I'm gonna blast through him. He's short, little, stocky dude. I'm like, I'm gonna blast through him and take him down. I was working on my wrestling a lot. I can wrestle, you know what I mean? I shoot in, I get double underhooks, and I'm like, I'm gonna just manhandle this kid to the ground. I go to like pressure into him, and all of a sudden I'm flying through the air because he drops me and throws me through the air. And after that, I'm like, you wrestled, didn't you? He's a super like he's he's the perfect type of training partner you want because he'll take it intense, but he's not willing to hurt you to win the position, you know? And you need people like that because some people let their egos get a hold of them and they're willing to hurt you to win. And it's practice. Like you get no money in practice. I don't get any medals. It doesn't pay my bills. You know what I mean? So sometimes like you have to concede the position, even if you can win it, if you're going to hurt someone, you know,
Right.
because people have families, people have jobs. You know what I mean? You don't want to hurt people
You've got
outside.
dogs to support. You've got two
Yeah, right,
beautiful,
right. I
handsome
got dogs
dogs.
and chickens and
Yeah, come on.
cats
What are
and
they going to do if you're not? But that's major praise coming from a legend like yourself to Ethan Kenny. And this is a little plug there. Hopefully, Ethan watches this. I messaged him on Facebook. So get back to me, Ethan. I'd love to have you on the card. Not everybody sees their messages because I'm cold messaging when we're not friends. So, it's slow going. You and I were so buddies. It's easy. But I know a lot of the
right.
fighters don't see my messages because of how Facebook sets up messages when you're not friends. So Ethan Kenny, I would love to have you on to talk about your upcoming fight. Seth Donovan is going to be coming on the show. That's Ethan Kenny's opponent. So I always love to have both sides on the show, as you know.
Yeah.
So I'm thrilled to hear that you're big on Ethan Kenny. Can't wait to see what that fight is. That's a high level amateur fight, a 2-0 guy versus a 1-1 guy that you're high on. That's very high level. And then
Yeah,
really
they're
the only
both
thing
very
up from there
skilled.
is advanced amateurs. So very exciting. Do you want to throw out a prediction, or do you want to give like a prediction like there will be violence? Like what's your prediction?
100% violence. That's all I got for it. 100% violence.
Well, that I'm sure there will be. For people not aware yet of Justin the General Patton, I don't know where you've been, but come out to the Meadows. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a standing room crowd only. The Meadows Casino is just such an incredible venue. People need to buy their tickets from you, from the Mat Factory, from 247fighting.com, and give Justin the General Patton credit. It's just such an incredible event back to back. I believe we talked last time that you don't go to the Sprawl in the Burgh when you're fighting the next day. So I know you'll be kind of sitting that out and waiting to see it on replay on the 247 live app. But if you were live, I guess we already talked about it. It's the Nicky Rod fight, right? If you were
Yeah.
live, what match would be really big? Probably the Nicky Rod matchup.
Yeah, if you're going like
Oh,
that's
Dalton Rasta though versus Tanner Hall. Dalton's but
oh
yeah,
yeah, I
he's
forgot
big
about
time.
that. I'm excited about that too. Yeah.
They haven't announced a ton on that yet. I'm sure Jim Mooney has a lot more, but they've announced Gavin Teasdale versus Lucas Siebert, which is
I'm excited about that too.
that's
Just
very
because
much, that's an MMA fight in Sprawl in the Burgh. Like it's jiu-jitsu, but it very well could be an MMA fight. Both guys have talked about how in the future when Lucas is pro, that might be a matchup as a pro MMA fight, which of course would be exciting. For now, it's grappling, and then we got two, I guess, what do they call them? Independent professional wrestlers. I'm gonna have both of them on the card. Garrison Creed and Shane Shikanaki. I don't know the independent professional wrestling world, but they're entertainers. I can't wait to see what they can
yeah,
put
that'll be
on.
fun.
So
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
excited about Seaberts and Teasdales just because all the back and forth on social media is so fun to me. Like it's local stuff, so it's like, but it is so fun. It's entertaining. You know what I mean? It's so entertaining.
yeah. And you know what? I've had them both on the card. I really enjoy and appreciate both of them. And I think what's cool about the local is both Gavin Teasdale and Lucas Siebert have bright careers and futures for a decade or more to come. And so what's interesting, sometimes you get these high level matchups sort of early where there's a lot of talking, which makes sense because I think both guys will have great careers. And no matter who wins or who loses, there's going to be a great future in store for both of them down the road because their skills and abilities, Gavin being such a high level wrestler, Lucas really being the full package. I mean, Lucas is really showing a lot of skills, taking out one of the best amateur uh, fighters. I mean, you have fought Cam
I
Agar.
lost him. Yeah,
Yeah,
right. I
yeah, you know
lost
how
him.
tough he is, and Lucas taking him out. Of course, Gavin jumping with only one amateur fight, jumping into pro MMA and looking good in what he's done so far. Obviously, hats off to both of them. As a fan, I wish they could both win. I know they're not going to be able to, and I personally think whoever wins, whoever loses, it's going to set up their next match, whether it ends up being a rematch, whether it ends up being MMA, whether it ends up being something down the road. I think they're too good to not compete against each other a couple more times. That's just what
Yeah, for
happens
sure.
in a pro. But yeah, those are only the 4 or so matches that have been announced so far for Sprawl in the Burgh 2. I'm sure there'll be many more announced. So for you, always awesome having you on. Always awesome having you on the card. Just spectacular. Congratulations to you in way of your lady friend got a big submission win. I had her on the card. She didn't tell me about Nova, so that's a shame. But
I know,
um,
right?
what a shame, But I know you guys feel the win and losses of each other because you're both fighters, and that's a big part of your support and training for each other. So hats off to her, but also you being in literally her corner. I watched the
Right.
Facebook video. She chokes the girl out, runs over, and there you are in her corner. It's such a cool experience for you guys. So thanks as always for coming on the show. Please like and subscribe to the channel so you can continue to see the handsome face of not only Justin the General Patton, but his beautiful dog Nova, new to the pack, as well as Buddy, who's a long-time fan of this show. And he's been on this show, I think, several years ago. I introduced you as Welcome Buddy the dog and his friend Justin General Patton, one of my
Right.
favorite openings I've ever done. So thanks so much for coming on the show. Mark your calendars, October 20th, October 21st, back-to-back nights at the Hollywood Casino at the Meadows. October 20th and 21st, Sprawl in the Burgh 2, Brawl in the Burgh 18, co-main event, Justin General Patton. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
I absolutely can't wait to see you live in action. Take care.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Got it.